Well, good Sunday afternoon, Lone Moose fans. How's it going? It is just hotter than hell down here in South Texas. But you know, it kind of goes with the territory. Yesterday, I showed you guys my new charcoal grilling rig right here, and give you a quick introductory video to it. Today, I'm going to use it to cook up some corn on the cob and some steaks for the family. So this will be its initial cook. One thing I didn't bother showing you yesterday was it does have a removable ash pan that sits in here. So I'm going to get ready and load this puppy dog up, get the charcoal started, and go get the steaks seasoned up, the corn soaking in water, get ready to roll. This video actually gets kind of a triple dedication. 3 folks I want to call out in the video, positively, not negatively. Number 1 is my buddy Jace in Utah. You know, we had a major misunderstanding last fall, last winter, and we were able to you know, sit down and discuss it calmly as reasonable, intelligent adults, and we both admitted that we both kind of misunderstood the situation and it got out of hand. So Jace is now getting ready to enter the world of smoking meats. And when we were in Utah on vacation, I helped him pick out a smoker. I think he was picking it up this weekend, I'm not sure. So Jace, number 1. Number 2, my buddy Roy, way down under in Australia. I know, Roy, you've been missing my cooking videos, so I'm going to get a few more coming your way here in the very near future. So appreciate you sticking with me and, you know, watching some of my other kinds of videos that I do on the motorcycles, the guns, and who knows what. And last but far from least is my son Cameron. He's 20 years old. We adopted him when he was about 3 as a grandson. And you know, next year when I take off and go to Alaska, well, he's not going. He's in his family. You know, he's got a girlfriend and they're expecting their first baby here in about 3 or 4 weeks. So they're staying here in Texas. And I was telling him last night that, you know, I'm not going to be taking this grill with me to Alaska because I've got the other brand new one that will have not been used. So he needs to learn how to do some grilling and some barbecuing and some smoking if he wants any of this good stuff after I'm gone. So this is kind of an educational video for him, and kind of the next few videos I make on smoking and things will be directed that way. So anyway, this is a charcoal grill. The first thing I got to do is load her up with charcoal, and then we'll get her going. Okay, the first question that I would think would pop in the mind of a new charcoal griller is, what kind of charcoal do I use? I prefer lump charcoal rather than charcoal briquettes. And the reason for that is the fact that charcoal briquettes are made of basically lump charcoal to start with. It's all kind of partially burned wood that is ground up and then mixed with oil and petroleum byproducts and formed and shaped into the briquettes. So when you're cooking with briquettes, you're getting a little bit of that oil and petroleum. So that's number 1. So basically, when I did my first barbecue competition in Utah in 2006, I kind of went from kindergarten to grad school in one session. I was 50 years old at the time, or a little over 50. And you know, I've been grilling since I was 17, 18 years old, and I thought I knew all there was to know about grilling and smoking. But boy, did I learn a lesson. And the first major lesson, a couple of the guys that were on the booth on both sides of us kind of took us under their wing and gave us some pointers, was never ever use charcoal briquettes, because it does impart a flavor to your meats that judges do not like, and in fact, you'll end up at the bottom of the pile if you do. So they said, if you're going to use charcoal, then only use lump charcoal, period. So that's why I use lump charcoal. The next question, how much to use? Well, famous last words, that depends. Let me move the camera over here a second so you can get a better view of how much I put in here to start with. You don't need to see my ugly face anymore for a little bit. All right. And you see how it's kind of piled up. And you do that so that you kind of get a chimney or a volcano effect in it. So I'm putting a lot of charcoal in here because I'm going to be grilling 4 steaks, 6 ears of corn. So I put in what looks like enough to me. You can always add more, you know, if you start running low and your fire's not as hot as you want. Next question, how do I start my charcoal fire? You know, I can't just hold a match up to this and expect it to ignite. So there's several different ways. There's electric fire starters. You can put in this little round metal loop and shove it in there and plug it in. You can use these little fire starter cubes. You can use chimneys, which is what I use for all of my smokers. But when I'm grilling, just charcoal grilling, I basically just stick to plain old charcoal lighter. Okay, yep, it's petroleum based, all right. And in a situation like a charcoal grill, it burns off. Now, hopefully, and we'll see as we go here, I've got enough to get this fire going, because this is all the charcoal lighter I have left at the house. I thought I had another jar, another jug, but I don't. And again, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can see it kind of splashes everywhere. Is you could put it on just like this and immediately take your fire source and light it, or you can let the fluid soak into the charcoal for a few seconds, a minute, whatever, and that's kind of what I do. I don't light it just instantly. I think that gives it a little bit better burn. So let it sit here for just a couple minutes while I ramble on. I've got the grates off on this side over here, and I've got my charcoal tray ran all the way up right now. Now, if I wanted to, you know, I can take and run it down here, and that might be a little safer when I'm lighting it. Just keeps the flame down a little lower, and that's what I'll do. But that's once I get it lit. Okay, I don't like dealing with a fire down here and having it come right up at me. So when I light it, it's up here. All right, let's see if the torch will work. Woo, doggies. And that gets real hot real fast. Okay, so at this point, that is really all we do with it up until the fire burns down and the ashes really, you know, everything's kind of a nice grayish red glowing coals. And then we know it's time to get started. So now I'm going to take you into the building and we're going to get the steaks seasoned up. Okay, Moose fans, let's get these steaks cut open so that we can get them seasoned up. I've got 2 ribeyes and I have 2 T-bones. Ribeyes. T-bone number 1. Now these steaks all came from local grocery store. I believe they source all of their meat locally from Texas, Lowe's grocery store. Not to be confused with Lowe's hardware stores. Not the same at all. Give me a fresh pair of gloves here for handling the seasonings. And I don't get real super fancy on my seasonings. I'll show you what I use. Everybody and I do mean everybody, gets Morton's Nature Seasoning. Okay, great stuff. Kansas City Barbecue Rub, if this will focus. Hello, focus. By Pit Boss. I really like this. It gives it a really nice flavor, a little bit of sweet. Again, from Pit Boss. Smoky salt and cracked pepper. And then from Martha's Steaks, come on, focus, focus. There we go. Just roll it around there. Is McCormick's Montreal Seasoning. So first up, everybody gets their coating of Nature Seasoning. Flip them over. I'm just using my left hand on this, so I keep my right hand clean when I get ready to rub the stuff in. Round 2 of the Nature Seasoning. Now this steak over here on my left, this is going to be Martha's, or she may share it with Martha and Miranda. We'll have to see. Cameron's got one of his buddies over today, Ryan, and they're going to make a quick grocery store run for me. So, you know, I told Ryan I'll make sure to get enough steak for him too. Cameron, because of some of his dental problems, can't eat a lot of steak. Okay. Now, Martha's steak over here, all by itself. It just gets the Montreal seasoning. It doesn't get any of the others. That's the way she likes it. So that's the way I'm fixing it. Pat it in. Flip it over. There we go. One done. Now, everybody else, oops, not that side, that'll be a mistake. Get some of the Kansas City seasoning. And my steak, the top of this broke, so it kind of makes it a little more difficult to use. Yeah, there. You got to hold it down. It gets the smoked salt and cracked pepper. So there you have it, 4 steaks. Now my big boy Jax, he's sitting over on the couch chilling out, so I have to put this far enough back so you can't see the steaks now, to kind of Jax proof them. And next I'll get the corn ready. It's going to go soak in some water for a while, and then I'll check on the charcoal, and I'll be back with you as we're beginning to bring things together. Okay, see how the coals have pretty much all turned gray. Super hot. Spread the coals out. Woo! Now at this point, I go ahead and I put the grates back on as I can, because it is super duper double hot. Singe the hairs right off your hand, because I want the grates to be really hot too when I put the steaks on, because that'll sear it. Now, I'm no fanatic about grill marks and all that stuff. Yeah, it looks nice, it's aesthetics and everything, but it really doesn't impact the taste, and I'm more about the taste. So if I get good grill marks, great. If I don't, that's okay too. So first thing that's going to be going on here is the corn. So in fact, it's going on in the next few minutes. So I will be right back with you. Okay, I've cranked the charcoal grate way down, and I do that so that as I begin to oil these grates, it doesn't flare up in flames on me. You can see it's smoking a little bit now. These aren't my usual tongs. I can't find them right this moment. So we're just improvising. But these are kind of a porcelain coated grate. I said ceramic on the thing yesterday, but it's like a porcelain. So got good expectations from this. Let's get the corn on. And the way I do the corn is basically just layer it in. Here it's sizzle from the water. I had it soaking in. Crank the grate up some. About like that. Close the lid. And now I set my timer for 7.5 minutes. And I basically flip it every time. Now after the second flip, or when I do the second flip, is when I will put the steaks on. So when I rotate these, I basically make 1/4 turn. And then we give it another 7.5 minutes and do it again. All right, time to flip. See, a couple of new things have been added here. I was brought out a couple of salmon patties that were found in the freezer. God knows how old they are. So they're going to be cooked up and given to the doggies. Roxy! There it is, people. That's going to be dinner. Other than one ear of corn that I took and I cut the corn off the cob. I'm going to kind of pan fry that in butter for Cameron because he's got real bad teeth and can't eat the corn off the cob. So trying to at least get him some corn that way. All right, time to restart the timer and come back and check on things. Actually, I'm going to leave it open here for just a minute and see, make sure I get enough heat going in the grill there. Now you see that we're getting a little bit of smoke coming off of the grill by leaving the grate open. It's getting more air into the fire and it's heating those coals back up again. It's one of the problems with the charcoal grill is trying to maintain temperatures where you want it. If you close the lid, that chokes off a lot of the air. It still gets some from the vents on the front down there, but sometimes you just have to open it up and let it get everything good and hot again. Which is what I'm doing right now. Time for another flip. Now we're starting to get some color on the husks on the corn. maybe we ought to do a little shifting here. Okay, my fire needs some extra juice. I'll put a little more lump charcoal in here. This is what makes it really convenient with this kind of a door. And this also goes back to what I said at the beginning. How do you know how much is enough? Well, this is how you know. When you have to add more, you didn't put enough to start with. And while I was digging around out in the carport, I found me a relatively thin piece of mesquite that I'm going to chunk in here as well. And so as that additional charcoal and mesquite starts to heat up, get it up high enough where it makes some difference. That's one of the things you have to deal with when you're grilling with charcoal. Well, y'all know I like to show the good, the bad, the ugly, and whatnot. And this is first use with this grill, so it's a matter of learning it. But I had to not only add more charcoal, but I had to take the meat off and use a little more charcoal lighter to get it going again. It's lessons learned. So what looked like a whole lot of charcoal, I probably needed more to start with. So remember that for next time. Now don't that look a whole lot better? That smoke coming out of there now. That piece of mesquite wood is burning, and I've moved the meats off to the side. I need to check them. I don't have a temperature probe handy, so I do my handy dandy little knife. That one looks good. That one's good. 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 These are all about medium well to well done, and that's how we like our steaks. I know a lot of people like it, and cut it off the cow's ass, slap it on there and brown it and call it good. Well, we don't eat it that way. You know, medium well to well, that's what we want. So let me get this pulled off and go inside and put my dinner together and let you see what it looks like. Hey there, Moose fans. What did you think of the first trial on the new Char-Griller charcoal grill? I thought overall it came out pretty good. You know, anytime you start working with new grills, new smokers, you have to learn its natures. And the first big lesson learned right now was needed more charcoal, or I needed to add more charcoal sooner. Okay, hey. Nothing that couldn't be fixed. I had to add more charcoal. I took the meat off, fired off the lighter fluid in until it got hot, put it back in with a little mesquite log, and the steaks turned out great. you know, I hope you guys enjoyed how it looked. Didn't do an actual taste test part of the video this time. So I'm just giving you my 2 cents worth. I will be doing another follow-up video on it here in the near future. Second time, run a little more charcoal, run a little hotter, and see how it goes. You know, you can also add an offset firebox to it to make it a kind of an indirect or a barrel type smoker, or you can do indirect smoking with it as well. So there's lots of possibilities. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you hit the notify bell, you'll be notified when I make new videos. Any comments are greatly appreciated. I try and respond to them all as quick as I can. You know, this is part of being a Gemini and part of just being old Bill. You know, I got more interests and hobbies and I have time to indulge in all of them. But, you know, cooking and smoking are some of the ones that I really enjoy. You know, that's one of the things I'm kind of thinking about to do kind of maybe as a part-time gig when I move up to Alaska and fully retire from working, is do something like that. You know, make a little brisket, pulled pork, things like that to sell at the markets and on the weekends, and just have some fun with it. So this is Lone Moose out. I hope you all enjoyed it. I will see you all on my next video. Woo, doggies. And that gets real hot real fast.